What was your early introduction to music like? Was it heavy on traditional Indian music?
Yeah, definitely classical raga. So, I mean, I went to concerts like every weekend with my parents. Home concerts. A lot of times the artists back then would, a sitarist or a vocalist would come with someone playing tanpura and tabla, and they would perform, 2-3 guys, and they would go to living rooms, and perform. We used to go to concerts every weekend. So for me, it was, I loved it.
From the tabla, you were wooed away by the guitar and seemed to master that instrument in fairly short order. Was the tabla too uncool for a kid growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area?
That's a good question, actually. I don't think that it was uncool. It was definitely unorthodox outside of the Indian community. People were open to it. I performed like in my music class when I was like in third, third grade and stuff like that. And it was cool to be able to play an instrument, but there was something about guitar, the heaviness of it, at least the guys that I first got turned on to, like Angus Young and Randy Rhoads and Yngwie, that kind of power behind the instrument, with the volume and the distortion, that did something to me that I couldn't generate out of my tabla,
Yeah.
right? Being an acoustic instrument. And so, yeah, I was drawn to that.
You won the Bay Area Best Guitarist competition by the time you were 20.
I remember that.
That must have given your career and ambitions a big boost.
Yeah, I mean, at that time I was attending Berklee College of Music, and I was learning about theory and studying a lot. And I don't think my technique had necessarily developed into what it is now at that point, but it was really a good thing to be able to do, because I was always competitive. I did like sports and athletics, and to be able to just be around a bunch of shredder guys, and throw down some licks and make it a little bit musical enough to win the guitar was really a good feeling of confidence. I never really took lessons growing up because I kind of always just wanted to do it my way. I talked with a teacher. His name was Jeff Leonard. He was very instrumental in getting me like excited about learning about music, and he had graduated from the education department from Berklee, and he's actually the guy that got me into Berklee. He got me he wrote me the recommendation. I mean, I couldn't, I didn't know what any chords were or anything, and so I got in. I took a summer class prior to going so that I wouldn't be totally embarrassed. And when I got there, wow, I studied John Coltrane. I mean, extensive study. Our exams were like, a Coltrane solo, and then you have to just, from looking at just a solo, pick out the harmonies and by listening to it and stuff. And it was really intensive, but I was analytical. I still am, and that was exciting for me. And it changed everything for me, from, writing, bar chord songs to, developing harmony.
How much of your Indian roots would you say come out in your music?
I would say quite a bit, more so now that I feel more comfortable, after doing a few albums, being on, featured on quite a few albums and recording. I think that I'm able to be freer.
With your latest album, you're also wearing the hat of producer,
right,
as you just mentioned. How, if any, has that changed the flavor or direction of your music?
Well, producing myself is a difficult task. I have a problem of being a perfectionist, and I'll never be perfect. So whether it be like on a technical level or whether it be, finding transitions that might seem a little drastic with the compositions or whatever it is, I'll find something, and so it takes longer for me to kind of put things together. The last few months though have been, I've been working with an engineer named George Black. Actually, he and I co-produced a few songs on my last album. I re-released my first album with some 3 new tracks, and we co-produced some stuff together. And he's a great engineer and also, a very talented producer. And I've been working with him these last couple of months, and it's really opening my eyes because he'll give me like little suggestions, like, hey, why don't you just, not worry so much about this or something unrelated even to music, and I'll be able to let, the song will just come out and it'll just happen within hours sometimes, So in that sense, it's difficult, but on the good side is that I'm able to just, sit with myself and say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I hear. Now let's make it happen.
Your engineer, how did you hook up with him? Is he someone you always work with? Or?
We've worked together quite a bit over the last, I would say, 7-8 years on different projects. Like anytime I would get, hired to do a solo or write a song, I'd always, call him up and say, hey, you want the work, and we started out like that. And actually, we played in a couple bands together. The first band we did was Daryl Diaz. He produced and was the music director for Herbie Hancock for a while, and I played on his album, and we met through that recording session, and we just kind of hit it off musically. He's a great guitar player also. He actually produced a couple tracks for Prince on the first Symbol album. Anyway, he's an accomplished musician himself. Yeah, but he's gone down the route of engineering. But we just can't, there's no battle between us. I have a lot of respect for him and vice versa. So that mutual respect is really, it makes things easy. We fight a lot, but at the same time, it's like a brother. Kind of. It's like my older brother. It's great.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I have a new album coming out pretty soon here, featuring Joey Heredia on drums, and I'm very excited about it, and I'm looking forward to releasing it. It's called Gray Matter, and it'll be out. Grey? Gray Matter. And it'll be out very soon, and looking forward to that.
Who's on it with you?
I haven't confirmed bass yet, but it's going to be me on guitars, Joey Heredia on drums, and then we'll see who on bass. It's a trio kind of an album. Yeah, and there's one track that's real special. It's, as we all know, Joe Zawinul passed, and I'm doing a cover of a Weather Report song. Wayne Shorter wrote it. It's called Elegant People, so that's the one little secret I'm going to throw out there.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for coming on Innerviewworld.com.
Thank you very much for having me.